And she doesn't look like James Martis, so it must be Abby Goldstein. Hi there.
Hi.
Sitting in for the missing James Martis today. If you want to pledge, well, we're making some progress. We have 70 to go to make our goal of 100 for this 2-hour program. The high bid currently $750.
Excellent.
For Cocktail Party with the Braintrust. And if you want to talk to us, we're at 214-871-9010 or 1-800-933-5372. Just a quick one around the table before we get some phone calls. Gordon?
Yes, if I ruled the world, Glenn, I would build a United Nations coalition to force France into realizing that there's nothing to Jerry Lewis.
Hello, lady.
I can't follow that one, Abby.
If I ruled the world, the Food Network would have multiple channels on cable, just like sports channels do. You'd have like the dessert channel, the appetizer channel. You know.
Right. Tom?
Bands with fewer than 50% original members would not be allowed to tour under the original band name.
Boy, God bless you for saying that.
Yes.
Yeah. Dave?
If I ruled the world, more men would dance.
Well, if I ruled the world, I would overturn that in a second.
If Gordo ruled the world, I would lobby for regime change.
Because I grew up dancing. My mom taught me how to dance when I was a kid. And, you know, I'm one of those guys
don't blame that on your mother.
So how do you dance? Like, what kind of dancing do you do, David?
You name it.
Like ballroom, salsa,
ballroom,
tango.
Salsa, tango.
You look more of a soft shoe guy to me, kind of body.
I can do that too. No, but I'm one of those guys always dancing with my wife, but then I look around and see all of the straight-laced, uptight American men who are sitting there will not dance.
Yeah.
I make sure all their dates or wives get to dance. So I just like more guys to dance so I can spend more time dancing with my lovely wife.
I think that's great.
Thank you so much.
Some of us, though, you don't want to see dance.
Yeah, we do. That's the point.
That's the point.
It's because most of us don't know how to dance, I think. You know, ballroom dancing and stuff, that looks fine, but whenever a guy gets out there to some techno music doing his spaghetti dance and got his arms going everywhere, that's where it creeps me out.
Well, if I rule the world, daytime trash TV talk shows could still bring on the pathetic excuses for humans that they do now to humiliate and trick them into acting like morons, but only if they pay for a year's worth of psychological counseling starting the day after the show airs.
Is that for participants or audience?
Both.
Oh.
To Michael in Dallas. Hi.
Hello, Glenn. If I ruled the world, just for fun, I would relegate all news about Iraq to page 2, and I just love to watch Republicans squirm. And, you know, when the real news hit the front page, that might be the demise of the Republican Party. So to balance that out, I would dissolve the Democratic Party and just give well-intentioned people a chance to start over. And I'd put Abby in charge of music.
Thanks.
I think Republican squirming is what Marcos was talking about with men dancing. I think the Republican squirm, we used to do that in high school. Right.
The fruit.
Form a big, strong
Republican
line.
squirm.
Good call, Blackwood. Nice
To Greg in Boyd. Hi.
If I ruled the world, everyone would drive Camaros, smoke, and listen to the dulcet tones of ZZ Top.
Gordon, I think that was
I think that's a reference to a guy on my station who is from Boyd. And that's all he does, is drive around in Camaros listening to ZZ Top.
Let's go to Roger in Arlington. Hi.
Yes, good afternoon. If I ruled the world, I would first certify that everyone has to pass a test showing that they understand what common sense is. I would then turn around and make it a crime to violate said law about common sense, and I would disbar any lawyer that defends people who have committed an act of random stupidity.
All right, very good. You know, some people, I'm afraid, could go a little power drunk if they rule the world, but that's the whole point, isn't it? Doug in Dallas. If I ruled the world, computer virus writers would be sought out, branded on the forehead with a V, and rendered incapable of either operating a computer or contributing to the gene pool.
Good.
Todd says, in my world, people would know the difference between writing Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U''R-E. Dave in Carrollton, if I ruled the world, the federal government would give me a tax break equal to the percentage of my taxes I have to pay for entitlement programs, except for the ones which benefit me, which is almost verbatim one that I have. So Dave scoops me. And Georgia, if I ruled the world, I would require a system that would use radio waves to detect lies and cause the person who is lying to emit a high-pitched squeal so that all the persons in the area are aware of the liar. This, of course, would require protective ear wear in the Washington, D.C. area. How are we doing down the hall there? We'd gotten down to 70 new members or renewals we needed to make our goal of 200. Between now and 2, we now need 69. Well, we're slowly but surely closing in on this. 1-800-456-KERA is the number to call. That's 1-800-456-5372. We could pledge at the $1,500 Friends level if that's a bit steep for you. You could be a day sponsor at $365. You could get the stainless steel travel mug at $90, the iSave public radio package for $60, or how about just the basic $35 membership? Make it simple. You get a membership card that gets you into either cut rate price or sometimes free at arts events all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Free to our movie screenings for sure. 1-800-456-5372 is the number to call. We specifically set a high target for this show of 100 new members in 2 hours, or renewals, because I thought we could get it, because we did it last time. So help us do it this time. 1-800-456-5372. And again, the current high bid on the Braintrust cocktail party is $750. Now, somebody has written down all. I don't know if that means all the phones are busy or all the phones are empty. All are open, which is another way of saying nobody's calling. 1-800-456-5372. You can also pledge at KERA.org.
See, that's simple.
Try this?
That's very simple when you can go online and pledge. And that helps us out, because I can't believe we've got to get down to 0 on this number. Starting at 100, going to 0. We did it last time.
I know.
You're jinxing us, Tom.
No, it's Abby.
You think it's Abby? That's right. Abby's the one thing that's different
I
here.
think if I wasn't so quiet, we'd be there right now.
So,
chemistry destruction.
Let me clarify this, Glenn. This is $35 a month, $35 a week?
A year.
A year. Just for $35.
That's right.
Someone can become a member here.
So
That's
sell
right.
1,000 shares of Lucent. There's $35. Send it on in.
Come on, 1-800-456-5372. Get us, 69 is a long way to go to make 0. So somebody help us out here with one quick phone call at 1-800-456-5372. Otherwise, I'm going to have to furlough these guys again, let them go eat barbecue while I beat you over the head. You'd much rather get on the air and tell us how you'd rule the world and listen to the phone callers or their emails. But 1-800-456-5372. Let's see. This is from somebody who says, cars would be ticketed for blocking the HOV lane, driving slower than the traffic in the other lanes. Do they think they're required to use it if they have a full vehicle? I'm not sure what that means. And this, I believe, is from Kelly, who says, and from Eric and I, people who dive into the HOV lane in front of my car would be banned from the roadway. This happens, does it?
Well, see, if Kelly ruled the world, she'd have a special car, so you'd know that you can't jump in there. Yeah.
Right.
There'd be a Kelly lane on the highway.
If I ruled the world, I would abolish advertising agencies for good. No more false images of what is healthy, happy, and normal. God knows none of us measures up to the sugar-coated garbage in fashion magazines, TV ads, billboards, and so forth.
No, I do.
I do, too.
I do, too, yeah.
Liars. I hear a high-pitched squeal.
That's when my wife catches me lying. I do emit a high pitch.
For a reason.
Yeah.
I have one. If I ruled the world, I would take off all disgusting, bottom-feeding AM sports talk and move it to FM where we could charge higher rates.
Let's see. Kimber has a list of them. If I ruled the world, I could take my dog to work.
Yes.
Everyone's workday would actually be 9 to 5. People would know how to use, yet again, people would know how to use the word me so that I never again hear, please include these people and myself. Fast food would be nutritious. And if I ruled the world, everyone would have the ability to shoot stupid stickers at the cars of drivers doing idiotic things. When one accumulated a specific number, it would be pulled over and given a ticket for being a stupid driver.
It's like football helmets when you get the little decals for good hits.
You get a little Buckeye.
Yes.
Along those lines, if I ruled the world, women would face prison time for applying mascara while driving.
No, call it DWV. It's driving while vain.
DWS, driving while stupid. Yeah.
Let's see. Yes.
We've been on grammar many times today, so I think I'm going to get right down to the basis of this grammar thing. If I rule the world, whoever put out or allowed to be printed in any format, magazine ad, newspaper ad, billboard, if you are the copy editor who allowed that to go out with poor grammar, you have to pay to have it reissued with proper grammar. Because I've gone around and actually corrected the, in magazines, actually on signs in stores, put the apostrophe and added the E to the U and so on. We just need to make the people pay for it if they put it out incorrectly. That'll stop a lot of this nonsense. Right then.
Well, I've pretty much given up on my crusade for 15 items or fewer.
That's a fight you can't win, Tom.
No. Whole Foods, though, on Greenville has 15 items or fewer. There's one lane at Central Market that says fewer. All the rest say or less. So if you go to the lane that's grammatically correct.
That's the grammatically
go
correct
lane. Go to the checker that has the proper grammar and help the cause.
The I and me thing, that's entered into television and everywhere. Because when you look at a photograph, let's say, and you're identifying people in the photograph for whatever reason, would you say that's I?
No.
Or that's me?
Right.
You'd say that is me. Okay, but isn't that incorrect?
I don't know.
That is I. That is correct.
I.
That is I. Or it is I.
But the object of the verb thing, my mother taught me this and it still sticks. You would not say give the ball to I. So if you say give the ball to Gordo and me is correct, not give the ball to Gordo and I. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine my mother handing you the ball. Would you just say give the ball to I? No.
And just remember, someday Tom will rule the world.
And yeah, but pledge now, all right, for just the sanctity of the English language, please.
Well, and for standards, I think a lot of what we're doing here today, when people obviously are concerned about the slipping of the standards. Well, NPR and this radio station, the standards don't slip. It's continually high-quality radio. The standards don't go down, they go up. NPR gets better by the year, and you're not going to find standards anywhere that are higher in radio. So pledge this station. This is where the standards are high. That's why we listen.
Because during the last pledge break, someone talked about dialoguing. I called Glenn immediately. Actually, I sent him an email immediately. It has never happened again. I don't know if that person was dragged out and shot, but
we can only hope.
Dialogue as a verb has not been heard on this station since then, ladies and gentlemen. Please help.
And if you want to pledge, well, we're down to 61, so we can sort of see the end from here now. 1-800-456-KERA is the number to call. The high bid, by the way, on the cocktail party with the Braintrust is $750. If you want to top that, you can do it in $20 increments. If you want to just make your $35 membership, or your $60, or your $90, or your $120, 1-800-456-5372. 1-800-456-KERA, or pledge online at KERA.org. Maybe during this break we'll check there and see how we're doing on our online pledging. In fact, why don't you guys just take a little break? Because when we come back, I might have a few words for the audience.
KERA 90.1 would like to thank Coca-Cola for once again providing the assorted soft drinks that quench the thirst of our volunteers and staff. Thank you, Coca-Cola, for continuing to be a longtime supporter of KERA. Always Coca-Cola.
Welcome back. You know, it's fun having the Braintrust in to do a few shows a year. Dave Marquis, Tom Blackwood, Gordon Keith. Usually James Martis is with us. He was a last-minute cancellation, so we think we struck gold by getting Abby Goldstein in here to do it. If you want to come back and listen to some more of them in a couple of minutes, well, you're in luck, because they'll be back. They just had to take a little walk down the hall while I do some solid business, some uninterrupted business, because we have a goal of 100 members for this 2 hours today. We're only about 60 to go. Well, that means we've only made about 40 new members. We're also trying to get some bids on a cocktail party with the Braintrust. If you can't go that high, that's fine. But you can do $35, because I will bet you that you get $35 of use out of this station every year. My guess is you get considerably more than that. But let's just talk about the basic memberships. You get $35 worth of use. I'm just doing a quick math here. That's less than a dime a day. Surely you can afford less than a dime a day for a service that just keeps doing it 24 hours a day. If you wake up with Morning Edition, if you stick around through this show and Fresh Air and The World and All Things Considered, BBC Overnight, maybe you're a night owl, maybe you get up early, you have a lot of the BBC, These are shows that have to get paid for, and as we've said just repeatedly, they don't get paid for $10,000 at a time. We wish they did. That's not how it works. But we would like to see them get paid for $60 or $90 or $120 at a time, or maybe $365 at a time for somebody who wants to be a day sponsor. We have to pay for programs, just like everybody else does. In fact, we have to pay for more programs than a lot of stations do, in addition to salaries. 1-800-456-KERA, that's the number. 1-800-456-5372, 58 to go to make our goal of 100 new members or renewals for this hour. And do we know if that is just phone calls or if that's phone calls and... okay, so that's everything. So we have a total of 42 so far, 58 to go. Pledge online at KERA.org if that's how you want to do it. Call and make a pledge at 1-800-456-5372. We've got Marquis Blackwood and Gordon Keith hovering in the hallway, but Abby came back in early for a special announcement.
Well, it's not necessarily a special announcement, Glenn, but I just wanted to make a couple of points. One being that every day I walk in here while you're on the air, I walk in the control room or I'm checking in because my office is right across the hall. And I see the full bank of callers that are sitting here waiting to participate in the Glenn Mitchell Show. This is the chance during the day that you get to pop in and actually become a part of this radio station and participate. Ask the guests questions, converse with the folks that come in here and do the talk show and discuss the topics of the day. And if you are one of those people that calls in regularly and you're not a member, the phone call that you make on a daily basis can go to that other number, 1-800-456-5372. Public radio, there's got to be a place for weirdos like us to go, right? So 1-800-456-KERA. It is so affordable when you think about everything that you get in return. It's like a light switch. When you flip on the light switch, that works because you paid the electric bill. We don't turn off the radio when you don't pay for it. We're always here for you. But your chance to support it comes a couple of times a year. If you did the math and you thought about how many spots you hear on commercial broadcasting per hour as opposed to the none that you hear on non-commercial broadcasting, it really does pay for itself every time you flip on the radio. 1-800-456-KERA.
You want to go circle the troops, gather the troops?
We could circle the troops, yes.
All right. We'll track them down, get the bag hit here, but I'm just going to take another 30 seconds. That's all I need is 30 seconds because it's such an easy message to give and it's such an important one and so easy to act on. Put your pledge on your credit card, 1-800-456-5372. Help us make the very ambitious goal of 100 new members or renewals during this 2-hour show. 1-800-456-5372. 1-800-456-5372, the number to call. We have 55 to go to make our goal of 100 for this 2 hours. A couple of phones are ringing right now, but you know, that means that some people back there are just getting bored and testy, and they really want to keep in here to work.
Have you been in that pledge control lately? It's dangerous back there.
It's dangerous. Boy, when people don't call, they just get so cranky. Whew. Anyway.
I think we can do this. I don't think it's out of the question.
Well, I don't think so either. I mean, I'll admit, around 1 o'clock, I was a little on the worried side, but I'm not so worried now. I'm not so worried now because we've only got 55 to go and the phones are ringing, so 1-800-456-5372.
35 for a year's worth of programming.
It's not a bad
bargain.
Deal.
Yep. $60 for $5 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing.
We haven't talked about the Easy Checks plan.
Yeah.
We'll sneak it out of your bank account. $5 or $10 or $20 a month, however you want to do it is fine. But don't put this off. 1-800-456-5372. Tell you what, how about once around the table, and we'll get some more phone calls. Gordon?
I would require all cities, if I ruled the world, let me go ahead and add that little prefix to this. I would require all cities to have an extensive light rail system. That way we can quadruple the amount of empty train cars by the year 2025.
I have one on a similar topic. I said DART trains, which I love. I love the DART trains. But if I ruled the world, they would go someplace I needed to go.
I do like that light rail system. That is really neat.
That's great. Yep. Well, if I ruled the world, I think people would have to pass some kind of a written and verbal exam in order to be qualified to use the telephone.
Okay.
But even if you haven't passed, call now and pledge. Yeah. Quick before the testing comes in.
Right.
If I ruled the world, they would make an artificial disc and make artificial hearts, artificial knees and hips. Somebody would come up with a really good artificial disc No, I like to be first in line.
This is the man that says he dances all the time, who has all these artificial parts.
Well, he just doesn't let that hold him back.
Oh, okay.
I take the Advil in advance, Tom.
He was breakdancing out in the hall a little bit earlier.
No, that was the Republican squirm.
Oh.
If I ruled the world, people would, for no apparent reason, and without giving it a second thought, mail small amounts of cash to me several times a month.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Not to the station, just to me.
Not campaign contributions.
No, just a little pin money. Thousands of people.
I think that's called a pyramid scheme. I think they do that.
All right, phone calls.
Judge Softy?
No. Different Ron. To Kevin, good afternoon.
Great show, guys.
Good.
If I ruled the world for one day, I would make marijuana legal immediately, and anybody incarcerated would be let out, and the ridiculous war on drugs would be stopped, and people would be made responsible for their own actions.
Plus, you could get a killer buzz, too.
If you ruled the world for one day, that's about all you could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is not a one-day deal. You rule the world until they carry you out. Let's go to David in Plano. Hi.
Hi. If I ruled the world, I would make everyone who hasn't already learn how to use their directional flasher, stay out of the left lane when they're not passing. I would make it illegal for lawyers to file lawsuits for plaintiffs who are filing because of something they did that was stupid. And I would end the cliche of calling a radio station and the first words out of your mouth being, "I love your show," when you're just trying to say that to introduce because you have nothing better to say.
I'm on record as agreeing with that last.
Love your show, Glenn.
Yeah, I know. Out.
There's also first time, long time is another one.
That's what I was thinking was first time, long time.
There's the yes, I'm calling about the rule the world thing. That's the first thing they say when that's the topic.
Right. Maybe schools for people calling radio stations. Maybe that's it.
We could teach a class.
We could teach a class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything that annoys you as a listener when you hear someone say it on the air, don't say that when you call up.
There you go. Kimmy in Dallas. Hi.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Glenn, I really love your show.
Let me guess, first time, long time?
That's right. No, I just, that's kind of been beaten over the over the head.
Well, thank us for taking your call.
Oh, well, thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to join part of the grammar parade police, and I wanted to say that if I could rule the world, I would eradicate the expressions eat healthy and drive friendly, because healthy is an adjective used as an adverb, and the same with friendly, and it's really irritating, and I'm really glad to know that there are other people out there who get really annoyed with bad usage of grammar, and I want to thank the advertising people who screw up our language like that. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Tom, do you want to come to the defense of advertising people?
I write very little advertising copy because they pay little and slowly.
Oh.
So to heck with them.
Okay.
No, but I love them, Yeah, but it bothers me as a parent because you drive with your child, and when they're learning to read, and they point out, why is that spelled that way? I thought you spelled this word this way. And it's like, well, no, K-W-I-K for quick. Because, well, honey, did it get your attention? What? Well, see, they did it so it would get your attention, and they got your attention, so you've been gotten. But, yes, I know.
I think you've given up on this one.
I have. Just for today. I'll rebuild my strength, and on we go. It's good to know there's a lot of people out there fighting the grammar fight.
All right. To Nina in Dallas. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Yes, Glenn, love your show. And if I would rule the world, thank you for taking my call anyway. I would close down all the factories to produce arms and ammunition and invest that money in health insurance for everybody and feed the hungry people with that money.
All right. Very good. So we're ranging from big world peace issues to get out of my lane.
Mm-hmm. Which would contribute to world peace.
Right.
One person at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What's the count and the amount from down the hall here? While they're counting and amounting, let me give the phone number 1-800-456-KERA. 53 to go and a half an hour to get it. Now, that may seem like a lot. 53 phone calls in 30 minutes may seem like sort of a tall order, but I know this audience can do it Because I think we were in about this situation last time.
Yeah.
40 or 50 to go with half an hour to go.
It's a late push.
It's a late push, but we can do it. 1-800-456-5372. And the current high bid on the cocktail party is $750.
Thanks, John.
If you want to top that, yeah, thanks, John. If you want to top that, you can top it with a bid of $770. Maybe somebody's just lying, back, waiting,
Last minute. What do they call that? Sniping
There's
on
a-
eBay? Something on eBay. They call it snatching it from the claws.
Claim jumping. I don't know.
Oh.
Claim jumping.
I would say lurking would be the right
Lurking.
word. Stop lurking.
There you go.
Jump out there.
There's a
and-
claim jumping thing on eBay. I don't know.
Yes, you're looking at something.
I'm looking at my list trying to find something funny that would make people call. But instead I have something that should be of concern to all of us. If I rule the world, any group protesting using the drivel, hey, hey, ho, ho, something, something has got to go, would automatically lose the argument. The last time I heard this was on NPR, and it was Los Angeles public school teachers protesting a dress code. And you just kind of thought, you would hope that a group of school teachers would have come up with something better
Then what?
than
Hey,
hey,
ho,
ho,
ho.
ho.
Clothing's
Dress
got
code
to
has
go.
got to go. It's okay. Well, you lose. Put on a tie and go to work.
Let's go next to Blake in Dallas. Hi.
If I ruled the world, Dan from Tyler would be brought forth from his undeserved obscurity, groomed, properly attired, and made to rule the world.
Wow.
Except
Wow.
that Dan would never do it.
No.
Although we do hold Dan up as the model phone caller to radio stations. Listen to the Dan technique sometimes. He says hello, he asks a question in 17 seconds, and he's off the phone.
We love Dan.
We love Dan. We love Dan. Are we still needing, 53 here? Is that where we're still stuck? 51. Okay, so we're basically halfway there. We have 25 minutes to get 51 phone calls. 1-800-456-5372. $35 is where the memberships start. If you want to go higher, we will certainly take more money. But if $35 sounds fair to you, then make that pledge. As Todd in Dallas did, also Dan in Dallas, Lucy in Plano, Billy in Irving, Chris in Springtown, and Gordon in Garland. Join all of them by calling 1-800-456-KERA. 1-800-456-5372. Don't put this off because you know you're going to do it. This is the one frustrating thing about pledge drives. We know people are going to pledge someday, but it could be 5 years from now. Well, don't put it off. Just do it now. Don't wait. It's so simple. It's so quick. It'll take a couple of minutes. We need the money. You need the radio station. We can't make this any... Aren't you glad you don't have to go through this?
I'm very glad I don't have to go through this.
You know, if you're down at Lou Sterrett waiting for Gordon's live appearance, you get one phone call. You get one phone call, make it here to KERA and
Make
pledge.
it count.
Right.
That's right. Make it count. 1-800-456-5372. Get that basic $35 membership. Let us keep doing the show while you call, but that means you have to call while we're doing the show. Let's see. A few emails have come in, including Dave in Carrollton, who says, if I rule the world, anytime someone says they can send a man to the moon, but they can't, ... would be required to write 100 times, they weren't the same people. How can you argue with logic like that? Elaine in Dallas, if I ruled the world, every politician would spend a month as a welfare recipient or a teacher, while the welfare recipient or the teacher would live in the other person's home with that income. A modern version of the
I think that happened to David Letterman, didn't it?
Yeah. Let's see, from Dat, if I rule the world, each time a person who owns a large truck or SUV slowing down to 5 miles per hour to cross railroad tracks would have one toenail pulled. Ooh.
Yow.
Yow.
That is true. And also the speed humps. I know where Tom lives, they had those speed humps, and they are so much easier if you just take them going about 30 miles an hour than if you slow down to 1 mile an hour.
Right.
It's too bad we don't have James Martis here.
You can pull 0G if you hit them.
Right.
Too bad Martis isn't here to respond to Dave in Carrollton, who says, if I ruled the world, liberals wouldn't be allowed to take themselves so seriously. Jeff says, if I ruled the world, everyone caught abusing a child in any way would be dyed fluorescent pink, have all their rights taken away, and be set free to suffer the wrath of all parents everywhere. It would be a bloody revolution if some of these people rule the world. And Garrick says, if I rule the world, anybody who incorrectly substitutes the word myself for me would be subject to electroshock therapy. So
we've got a lot of grammar rulers going on.
A lot of grammar rulers and a lot of
traffic
people
problems.
Would redo the traffic laws. That's for sure.
So let's talk about proper grammar while screaming in traffic. Don't cut myself off. Don't say that. Don't cut me off.
Let's see. $35 basic membership will get you on board at 1-800-456-KERA. We have officially cracked the 50 barrier. So we really are sort of on a downhill slope now. 49 to go to make our goal of... don't laugh when I say that. I'm trying to encourage
someone who
phone
is 49. I don't like that number connected with downhill slope.
Listen, this group has been on a downhill slope for a while.
1-800-456-KERA is the number to call. Pledge $35 or anywhere on up. And if you want to check on the current high bid on the cocktail party, then ask the volunteers and they'll tell you what the current high bid is. As far as I know, it's still $750. One more quick one around the table before we take a quick break. Gordon?
If I ruled the world, I would pardon Winona Ryder because she's famous and should be exempt from shoplifting laws. And I know I was going to use this one, but I also saw it on Blackwood's list. I would make sweet, clean Reese Witherspoon my wife. But, you know, Tom's already got it down there. And
no, my first wife would object to that. If I ruled the world, Jerry Jones, plastic surgeon, would have to make himself known and state his warranty policy.
Well, if I ruled the world, James Martis would be here right now.
Dave. I'm sorry.
If I ruled the world, all water would be capable of being bottled and sold. So there wouldn't be so much bottled water being sold.
All right. Let's see. On that note, a quick check down the hall. Which will tell us that we need 47 to go to make our goal of 100 new members or renewals for this 2-hour period. I'm losing my voice. How about a sympathy pledge at 1-800-456-5372. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
KERA is funded by you, our members, and by Pogo's Wine and Spirits, featuring selections of fine wines from around the world, celebrating 15 years in business. Located in the Inwood Village Shopping Center on Inwood Road, pogoswine.com. The Hillcrest Academy, a nonprofit school offering active learning for pre-kindergarten through 8th grade students. Academic excellence, character, community. hillcrestacademy.org. The Fort Worth chapter, Texas Society of CPAs, a nonprofit organization, reminds you that your CPA, certified public accountant, is like CPAs everywhere, a person you can trust for professional advice on running a business, planning for retirement, or financing a child's education. The Fort Worth chapter, Texas Society of CPAs. More information can be found on the web at tscpa.org.
I want to tell you about what's coming up next week. What's coming up next week is going to be, how could you not want to pledge a show that will give you everything from Johnny Cochran on Monday to Grace Slick on Friday? Now, is that a deal or is that a deal? With lots of interesting stuff in between. That's just 1 week, mind you, just 1 week. All I'm asking for right now is, say, a minute and a half of your time. We can almost see 100 new members or renewals for this 2-hour show today. We have 44 to go. This can be done. And it can be done one phone call at a time. We have plenty of people down the hall. They're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that's answer your calls. So you put them to work at 1-800-456-KERA, or if you listen online, if you live online, pledge online at KERA.org. That's KERA.org. It's #9 if you use AT&T Wireless. Or if you just want to plain old call us, it's 1-800-456-5372. Roy wants a call. Robin wants a call. These people gave up their time to talk to you. Don't let them waste their time by sitting around just staring at the wall. Put them to work. 1-800-456-5372. Abby is on... Where is Abby? Oh, she's in the phone room. Hi there.
Pardon me while I make a whole lot of bad noise.
Banging
here.
Around back there. What's happening?
Well, I've got four people on the phone right now, and quite a few that aren't on the phone. 1-800-456-KERA is the number to get all these people on the phone.
All right. Well, we can do that. We can do it at 1-800-456-5372 because everybody understands that a $35 membership, will get you into, in some cases, half price, in some cases free, to arts and cultural events all around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, gets you into some free movies that we put on, and I say this all the time, it is true. Movie tickets are now $6.50 or $7. A membership is $35. Somehow we're losing $7. I don't know how that happens, but we're losing money on this. You should take advantage of our ineptitude by pledging $35 at 1-800-456-KERA. 1-800-456-5372. 42 now to go. 16 minutes to do it. That's not a lot of time to get 42 calls, but we did it last time. We can do it again. Call us at 1-800-456-5372. Abby, why don't you say a word for us in there?
Say a word. Well, I said it a little while ago, Glenn, about there having to be some place for weirdos like us to go, but really, quite frankly, there's a place for listeners who appreciate this kind of free-form style of communication to go, and that is down the dial at Public Radio, 1-800-456-5372. It's kind of a unique thing that we do here. It's a uniquely human voice that we present. It's non-adversarial, and it's very free-form, and your opportunity to participate comes on a daily basis when you call in and make comments during the Glenn Mitchell Show. You always have a full bank of phones, Glenn, and if the full bank of phone calls of people that called in to make comments or ask questions during your show were also members, we wouldn't be in here right now looking for 40 more calls. So let's hear from you today at 1-800-456-5372. I'm looking at about 4 people that are not on the phone. We need 37 to go, Glenn, 37 to go. We're getting there.
I never actually thought about this, but if I ruled the world, only people who were members could call with questions and comments. That's the problem with a dictatorship. Anyway, 1-800-456-5372 is the number to call. 1-800-456-KERA. Abby, thank you. You want to keep an eye on things in there and check back in a minute? I'll take that as a yes. Let's get a couple of calls, and then we'll talk to the boys again. Scott in Dallas. Hi.
Hey, if I were a dictator of the world, I would require that everybody in the world do a tour of duty for 3 years at the 3 following jobs so that they could develop an appreciation for those people who actually do those jobs and work and wait on them. One of them would be to waiter for a year. One would be to be in retail for a year as a sales clerk. And one would be working construction, probably for a year.
Right.
And another one would be to require that everybody, besides their own native language, learn English as their second language, or at least a secondary language, as a de facto language for science, technology, and communication around the world, plus one other language of their choice. The only people that would have a problem with this would be white Americans like myself, but at least I've made the effort. Anyway, thanks.
Thanks. Well, English as a second language has worked for Tom.
I know. Texas is my native language.
There's no reason it wouldn't work for you. Let's do one more phone call from Lee in Dallas. Hi. Hey, Lee. All right, try us again. Some email suggestions from David, who says, if I ruled the world, I'd immediately have all email marketers, known as spammers, arrested and have at least one finger cut off very slowly with a dull knife until they changed occupations.
Well, we really have advanced beyond being cruel to one another, haven't we? But they are right. I get the spam email all the time. The big one right now is mortgages. I get mortgage in that subject line all the time for some reason. I don't know how that happened. And I also get the Klez virus. Here is a new game I wish you would consider. It is my first one.
Klez virus.
Right.
And you played. Bill says, if I rule the world, and I'm not sure why I don't, out-of-control 18-wheelers would be magnetically linked to cars that have those bumper stickers reading, when the rapture comes, this car will be empty. There's a lot of vindictive people out there who'd like to rule the world. Bill says, if I ruled the world, I would make pledging to KERA count towards court-ordered community service. Okay, we've cracked the 40 barrier now. We have 12 minutes to get 37 new members or renewals. We can do it. The high bid, by the way, on the cocktail party, $750. Call 1-800-456-KERA, 1-800-456-5372. This is sort of tying in with two of the topics we've covered so far. If I ruled the world, voting would be a requirement for a driver's license. And failing that, voting would be a requirement for calling talk shows and complaining about politicians and the government. This is not an original observation with me, but I think it's one that I would certainly invoke if I ruled the world. You have a couple more there, Tom?
I just have a question. Grace Slick is going to be on Friday?
Yeah.
Is she going to play Everything You Always Wanted to Know? Or Everything You Can Always Remember, if you can remember? Or...
She's going to talk about her artwork.
Okay, good. I just have absolute ban on leaf blowers. The North Texas bagpipes. You know, there's no excuse for them. Mulch the leaves, buy a broom.
Choose something.
No leaf blower.
Okay, fair enough.
They should have their toenails. Or I'll let the other guys who have suggested penalties handle that.
Let's see. 37 is still on 37. 30. 30. Okay, now see, now it's picking up. Now we have a possibility of doing this. We have 11 minutes. In fact, can we just punt the world? Fiona, is it okay if we blow off the world and don't do the world, do another hour of this? Okay? All right. So we actually have a little bit more time than I thought we did.
Geo quiz is going to be somewhere in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
So.
But it would be nice if we did it in the allotted time, and that's 11 minutes from now. Call us at 1-800-456-5372, 1-800-456-KERA, and help us get below 30, and maybe you can top the bid, the 750 high bid right now for the cocktail party with a swell bunch of guys. To Bruce in Dallas. Hi there.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, if I ruled the world, I'd have Martha Stewart have to show us that she's actually chopping, dicing, making whatever she does, and by herself. She can't get help by anybody else.
All right, a guy who distrusts Martha Stewart. Wonder why. She seems so very trustworthy. This is from Mary in Arlington. Mary in Arlington said, if I ruled the world, drugs would be legal and taxed like cigarettes. Child support evaders would go directly to jail, and all religions could be practiced without persecution everywhere in the world. This is from Barbara. I'll tell you where she's from in a minute. If I ruled the world, people could only complain if they accompanied their complaints with workable solutions, which I think we've done for the last almost 2 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Here. She's from, by the way, Shepherd Air Force Base.
Oh, boy. Hey, uh-oh, setting Tom off there.
See? Where does the intelligent comment come from?
That's right. Let's see. David in Carrollton has pledged, and he asks, me give 35 is okay? Yes, David.
It am fine.
It am fine. That's right. It be good. Yes, you can do that if you like. Call us at 1-800-456-5372 and get your pledge in. We can actually do this. We can do it. We have maybe 9 minutes, and we have, what, 30? Wait, we had 30 a minute ago. All right, so we've stalled on 30. But we can still pull this off, I think. This is one that I almost brought up from my list, except that we're sort of top-heavy on usage rules. But this is one that does bother me. Richard in Dallas says, if I ruled the world, anyone misusing the word literally would be slapped with a wet noodle 500 times. And Julie says, I would make people at the parks in Dallas keep their dogs on leashes no matter what. I would also make the parents keep their children on leashes no matter what.
Jeez.
Ooh. And I would also declare Michael Moore president of everything.
Then he would be corrupt. You would have to make movies about him.
Yeah, he'd have to do movies about himself.
Let's go to Jed in Richardson. Good afternoon.
Hello, Jed, is this? Yeah. Okay, my wife just chipped in and said every kid should have 3 meals a day all over the world. Mine is get rid of all flags and religions, and then we can start maybe on the lawyers.
Imagine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think John Lennon already did that one. We have 8 minutes to go, and we have X number of pledges to get to make our goal.
We're in the 20s. It's got to be in the 20s now.
We are.
28 to go.
28 to go. 28 to go.
Remember, the $750 pledge for the party is equal to $2135 memberships.
No, that's not how we count. We don't take the easy way out here. We don't do that. 1-800-456-KERA is the number to call. What do you guys listen to around here? What do you like? How about a couple of quick testimonials? Dave Marcus.
Usually listen to All Things Considered, of course, and some of the weekend programs, but I really like morning edition. That's a staple. You know, I'm eating the eggs in the morning.
I like this show a lot. I also enjoy Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. I like Terry Gross a lot.
You're on record as starting out making fun of public radio.
Yes, I am.
But then starting to listen to it.
And then now that I listen to it all the time, I love Diane Rehm, and I love Terry Gross. I think Terry Gross is the best interviewer anywhere.
Except Glenn.
Well, Glenn's not as pretty. Well, actually, maybe he is.
What about you?
Me?
Can you afford to have favorites?
Yeah, I think that's okay. Obviously, Lone Star Saturday Night because I'm on.
It's a great show.
I really like This American Life. I really love that sort of, non-radio people being on the radio. I love Studio 360 because it kind of talks about art in a non-art kind of way. And I love Selected Shorts. I just love listening to people tell stories. It's just great.
Yeah.
I also love This American Life. I think that's one of the best shows ever. I remember listening. I remember the first time I heard that was listening on a long car trip at night. It was being replayed. And it was a different public radio station. I was in another state. And it just hooked me in.
It's like nothing else.
Some guy
out
who
there.
roomed with a chicken. It was the strangest story I ever heard.
Well, a couple months ago, they did a piece on a production of Hamlet done in a prison. And it was absolutely brilliant.
Well, the guy broke down the character of one of the friends. He goes, if this guy had really been a friend of his, he would have told him this.
Yeah. If it was Horatio. I mean, if they were best friends, he would have wanted to know what you and Ophelia did last night.
Right.
Instead of, forsooth. But that was interesting because they took the character of Hamlet and broke it down into 4 different people, which I thought that was just great.
And all those great shows, and you could be a member for $60 a year, even $35 a year. And it's such a great bargain.
It is a bargain. As a matter of fact, it's a heck of a deal. By the way, the guy who has just to show you we're not making this stuff up, the guy who's the current high bidder is the guy who won last time. He had so much fun at the last cocktail party.